Why, hello, you amazing, beautiful people, and welcome back to another Taylor Swift Friday. How are all of you doing? Are you having a good week so far? Are you looking forward to the weekend? Got any nice plans over the weekend? Ah, man. Whenever the weekend is here, I'm always pretty excited. Mainly because Mondays are my favorite day, and when the weekend's here, I know Monday is just around the corner, and that's because every Monday is my night to cook. And I love cooking, and it's a lot of fun, and I always make a chili, and it's delicious. So that's why I'm looking forward to it. Also, I think I've got my mum coming up this weekend, which, yeah. Anyway, you guys look forward to the weekend? So, I read the comments, I saw what all of you were recommending, what all of you want me to react to, and that is the Taylor Swift Grammy Museum performance. Now, I found the entire video, it's an hour long, but the thing I'm confused about is, I think the songs are in at the end, so it's like this entire piece, and I'm going to react to all of it, but I don't really know how these reactions are going to work, because if the songs are all at the end, that means my last part reaction to this will have all the songs in it. I don't know whether or not this is going to be 3 parts or 2 parts. We'll just see how we get on. It probably will be 3 parts, but I'm not 100% sure. And I also want to say, if for any reason these need to be blurred, because the full performance isn't on Taylor's channel, and in the past, whenever a video hasn't been on her channel, it has to be blurred. So I'm a little bit worried I'm probably gonna have to blur this. The full unblurred reaction will be available on Patreon. Link to that is in the description. Patreon is just $1 for an entire month subscription, and it gives you access to everything on Patreon. So if you want to sign up to that and get the unblurred reaction, you can do, and then you can get the unblurred reaction. If you sign up for $1, you'll get all 3 parts for $1. And then if it doesn't need to be blurred, I got a funny feeling it will be, but if it doesn't need to be blurred, then I'm gonna add an extra bonus reaction to either a song, like it'll be like a live performance of a song we've already heard, or like a short, or like a special Taylor clip, or something like that. And that will be at the end of the video. So if you're watching this right now on YouTube and the video isn't blurred, then on Patreon there's going to be an exclusive little bonus reaction at the end of the video. However, if it is blurred, there won't be a bonus reaction at the end of the video, but on Patreon the unblurred reaction will be there, and that will be the case for all future Friday reactions going forward. Anyway, enough of my talking. This intro has been crazy long. You've all probably skipped past it and just got straight into the video. So, get comfy, relax, maybe go get yourself a nice hot drink, like and subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and let's jump into my first time ever reaction to the highly recommended Taylor Swift Grammy Museum performance. I don't really know what this is, by the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor and help me welcome and show appreciation to Taylor Swift.
Oh, hey, guys.
Oh, hey, guys. She's a
That was really nice. I'm so excited you guys are here. I'm honored that you'd want to be here to talk about how we made 1989. I feel like before we talk about how we made 1989, I should probably tell you all the things that led up to 1989 happening. I had been
the one of the #1 comments on this video because every now and then I might read a couple of comments where I do a reaction on the video I'm reacting to, and one of the #1 comments on the video was someone saying it's a shame more people haven't seen this because it's really showcases Taylor's genius, and immediately I got really excited to watch it. And I will say, it is a shame that for some reason there are these amazing things around Taylor Swift that people don't seem to want to watch. We've checked out a bunch on this channel, and you can tell because the views vary, you know? If I react to music videos and stuff like that, they'll do well in views, but if I react to some intricate detailed stuff about Taylor behind the scenes, it won't do that well. And it is a shame because I feel like a lot of us really want to know more about her and how these things come to be. It's a shame so many people don't seem to want to know.
I'm working with this demo producer named Nathan Chapman, who worked...
Because she's just brilliant.
He worked in it was actually a shack. I'm not exaggerating. I loved the demos that we made together.
I find it so fascinating.
And so when it came time to make my record, Scott was like, well, you know what? We're gonna put you with producers who have actually made albums before. And I was like, but this guy is so great. And he's like, but has he made an album before? And I was like, technically no.
Technically.
But, you know, so I went in and I tried it with a lot of different people who are awesome. And it just wasn't that same magic that I got with my demo producer who worked in a shack. And So after a lot of begging and pleading, I got my label to agree to let Nathan Chapman produce my entire first album, and he has worked on every single album that I've done since, including 1989. So that turned out well. I got to make my next record, and I had a little bit more say. And so I got to use Nathan again without any conversations being had. And I made my second album, Fearless, which ended up being kind of the one that was the breakthrough album. Like, it was my first international #1 with Love Story.
I will say, it's rare to have a success story like Taylor, which I think rings so true to her actual talent. Because the fact that it didn't take long, obviously before all of this, you know? Like, I think NF, anyone who knows the rapper NF, he does a really good job at, like, explaining it, where you think, like, someone is new to music because you listen to their first album, when really they've been doing it for years. And NF, like, talks about that. When he brought out, like, his first album, and then people were like, oh, who's this new rapper? And NF's like, I've been rapping for, like, 15 years. This is just the first album I've been able to make because I've been trying to make one for 15 years. And I feel like that's the same with Taylor. Like, she was doing so many things behind the scenes for ages. But the second her albums came out, you know, her first and her second album, that was it. Like, she just said, her second album, #1, like it's so rare for someone to make 2 albums and get that kind of recognition.
Story. It was the
You know
first
what I
time
mean?
I ever got to
Says how
hold a Grammy in my hand and then drop it in the press room, which was really embarrassing for me. But that was the album that I felt was simple, to the point, and was it was like a really accurate snapshot of my life at that time. Like, it was just exactly what I was going through.
she's
and
so
it was said very
articulated,
simply.
isn't she?
It was
Is that the
sonically
right word?
cohesive. And that's my favorite thing looking back on that album. After that, I had a lot of people who would say, oh, she's an 18-year-old girl. There's no way that she actually carried her weight in those writing sessions. And that was a really harsh criticism, I felt, because, you know, there was no way I could prove them wrong other than to write my entire next record solo. So that's what I did.
How sad must it be to know you did something, but have no way to prove it when people don't believe you? You know, like she said, like, to know it's true, but people just don't believe you, and there's nothing you can do to convince them. How sad must that be?
There are 2 albums that I kind of think are like a little bit patchwork
then
quilty sonically.
She proved
And
them wrong.
Speak Now was when we started getting into that. We were like, go string section, whoa, like, but then we'd have banjo on the next track, and you're like, what's going on? But it was us just trying new things and stretching. The next record, Red, is actually a really relevant part of how I got to 1989. And I was getting the ideas exactly the same way I always did. And then, few months in, they started coming to me as pop melodies, and I could not fight it, and I just embraced it. I just wanted to see what it was like to work with Max Martin, because, you know, the idea of Max Martin, he's so enigmatic, he's so, like, mysterious. You're like, what does he look like? What does he talk like? What does he wear a cloak? Like,
Does he wear a cloak? Does he?
and I just wanted to know. I was
Yes,
like, you know,
he does.
What is a Swedish
Wow.
pop mastermind? What does that look like? Does he know how to play guitar? Like, what is it? I called him, and he came over to my house, and I said, I love what you do. I want to combine it with what I do, and I'm a little scared, but I'm not really that scared because I think it could be great. I'm not going to second guess this. This is just a gut feeling. I think it's going to work. We went in, we did 3 songs, 2 of which were I Knew You Were Trouble and We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together. And that was as much as I was kind of allowed to work with Max on that project. I was also attached to being a country artist at that point. Just really, like, you build these relationships with radio and with the community, and it's sacred. We labeled Red a country.
That transition is interesting as well, isn't it? You know, the idea of moving from one genre to another genre, which is something you see a fair bit, I would say. It's not uncommon for people to do that. At least I don't feel like it is. Maybe people will disagree. But as someone who grew up listening to rock music, I remember in like the 2000s, like sort of around 2010, you had so many bands that I loved that were just releasing albums that sounded nothing like they used to sound. And I remember being like really confused. I was like, this doesn't sound like them. They're changing. And it must be scary as a band to do that. And I wonder what the reasons behind doing that for a lot of bands are.
With radio and with the community, and it's sacred. We labeled Red a country album, and it came out, and it was universally agreed on that the songwriting was great, but it was also noted that it was a little bit multiple personality, which it was. And so leading up to how 1989 became 1989, I got nominated for Album of the Year with Red. Going up to it, you know, everybody comes up to you and they're like, oh, you got this, you're gonna win, you're gonna win. And I wish they wouldn't do that, because you don't know if you're gonna win.
You
and
start
someone else could very well
believing,
win, and someone else very well did. When they announced the Album of the Year winner, it was like, and the Album of the Year goes to Random Access Memories, Daft Punk. And they really dragged out the rap. And I was like, for a second there, I kind of thought we had it, and we didn't. I remember not going to after parties. I went home.
How curious. Look at Taylor's eyes here.
I remember
It's a little bit of heartbreak there.
not going to after
Understandably,
parties.
bless
I went
her.
home and I cried a little bit, and I got In-N-Out Burger and ate a lot. And I just was thinking a lot before bed about what I had made so far for the next album that was to become 1989, but I didn't know that then. We don't make music so we can like win a lot of awards, but you have to take your cues from somewhere if you're going to continue to evolve. You have a few options when you don't win an award. You can decide like, oh, they're wrong. They all voted wrong. Second, you can be like, I'm going to go up on the stage and take the mic from whoever did win it.
Yes. Who would do that? No one would ever do that. You'd have to be a proper fucking dickhead to do something like that. That would be crazy. That would be crazy, right? Someone like poured effort and time and energy and their life into creating something, and it wins an award, and they have this special moment, and it's their time to shine, and you, as a complete fucking attention-seeking dickface, decide to take that moment away from someone? Psh, no one would ever do that. No one is crazy enough, self-centered enough, arrogant enough to do that to someone. No one, especially not a young girl. No, there's no way. That kind of dick doesn't exist. No.
Or third, you can say, maybe they're right. Maybe I did not make the record of my career. Maybe I need to fix the problem, which was that I have not been making sonically cohesive albums. And so I went to bed, and I woke up at 4 in the morning.
Interesting.
Like,
a cohesive album.
it's called 1989. I've been making 80s synth pop. I'm just going to do that. I'm calling it a pop record.
Synth
I am
pop
not
is-
listening to anyone at my record label.
80s synth pop is the fucking best, by the way. I'm just throwing it out there. It's the best.
I'm starting tomorrow. And so that's what I did. I got I got like a dozen sit downs over the music that I made for this album, because I went in with Max. I asked him to co-executive produce it with me. And with Red, I had learned that I really do like collaborating with different producers. I had worked with, on Red, I'd worked with Jeff Basker and Butch Walker, done some things with Nathan, worked with Dan Huff, and just really kind of, you know, Dan Wilson, just awesome people. And I liked the idea of collaborating. But I think with 1989, I decided I was going to narrow down the list. And it wasn't going to be 10 co-producers. It was going to be a very small team of maybe 4 or 5 people that I'd always wanted to work with or loved working with. And Max and I were going to oversee it, and we were going to make a sonically cohesive record again. We were going to approach it the way I approached Fearless. And so that's how we got to the record the way that it was. So that is where we get to the point where now I'm going to tell you how we made the album. So
Yay.
I'm going to start with a song called Blank Space. And Blank Space is a song that I wrote as kind of like a satire.
I do really want to point out how brilliant this video is. This is actually amazing. I can't imagine this is going to be incredible for like a reaction. I'm expecting this one to just not do well for views, if I'm being perfectly honest. And at this point on this channel, I'm just going through I made a promise to the Swifties that I would check out everything there is to do with Taylor Swift. Everything. Every song, every album, everything. And I'm sticking to that damn promise. And at this point, I'm going to be honest, it's kind of a selfish promise because as much as I'm doing it for the amazing Swifties who are joining me on this journey, I'm also kind of doing it for me because I really want to watch all of this. And I'd feel guilty watching stuff off of camera that you guys would like to see my reaction to on camera. So I'm just going to watch everything on camera and you guys are all just here for the journey as I fall in love with this woman every day more and more.
The media decided that I dated too many people. You know, you're sitting at an award show and there's going to be a joke about you being a serial dater in the monologue and you're just sitting there like, I'm 22 and this is rude. But instead of writing a song like, it's so rude, stop picking on me, I kind of like sat back and thought about how
it's so rude, stop
complex this character was that they'd drawn up for me. Like, she's jet-setting all over the world, collecting men, and like, oh, she's so clingy once she gets them, but she can get any of them, but then they run because she's so crazy, and like, she like moves in day 2, like crazy stuff like that. And I just thought like, this is amazing. Like, I need to write a song from this girl's perspective. Like, if you want to play this way, like, we can play this way. And I just decided to be her for one song. And I was going in to write with Max Martin and Shellback, who are 2 of the primary collaborators on 1989.
I love that she did that, to be honest.
And I was preparing all these things, and I think Blank Space was like the 3rd thing I played them. And they just stopped and they were like, no, this is the first thing we're working on today. I have the original voice memo of me playing it for them. They start shouting out, ohs, like in the chorus and stuff. There's also a part of the song that goes like, I've got a blank space, baby, and I'll write your name. I did that when I played them the original idea. And you'll hear Max go, oh my God, I love it. That's so annoying. They're all gonna kill you. I had the idea for the chorus and I had the hook, but a lot of the verse is gibberish, which you're about to hear in a second.
Are we gonna hear this?
Nice to meet you where you've been. I could show you incredible things. Diamonds, seasides on these dunes. It's cinnamon, oh my God. Listen, I do too. It's gonna be forever. We're gonna go, yeah. Hey, I'm gonna go down in flames. Tell me when it's over.
This is like an early 2000s Nelly track now.
Tell you what I can say. But I've got a blank space, baby. I'll write your name. What is this, baby? I'll write your name.
So annoying. I go off into a corner and start writing all the lyrics for the rest of the song.
I feel like I have got to a stage now with Taylor where I just look at her with incredible admiration. You know, I feel like I just watch her with this face of just complete fascination, you know? I don't even know if that makes... No, it does make sense, yeah. You know, like, I just think she's just brilliant. I do. And the fact that she just seems so chilled and calm, and she's like, here's the voice memo, yeah, this is what we did, this is it. And there's no, like, nerves or anything like that. There's almost like an excitement to sharing this story with everybody, you know, to going through it all and sharing these memos. She, like, you can just feel the pride from her when she talks about it, and it's so amazing.
When the chorus hits, you hear this, oh! And you even hear, like, a hint of it sampled in the intro. That's me and Shellback screaming. Oh! 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 Ho! Oh! 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 So this was the most simple production because we really wanted it to be about the lyrics. The way that I approach the lyrics on this song is I'll be like out and I'll just write, like if I get like some zinger in my head, I'll just like write it down on an endless note thing in my phone. And a lot of those lines were from just things I had come up with in the past year, like darling, I'm a nightmare dressed like a daydream, and lines like that. Like I had kind of come up with a lot of the lines before I got in there. There's a Prophet 5 chorus bass that just comes in on the chorus. And it's pretty simple. We just started with the 808 and they just put down a kick and a snare, and it's a really sparse track. That's what we mainly wanted it to be. We wanted it to be about the lyric and the vocal. So that kind of Rhodes-ish, that like ding, 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 ding. I'm gonna play the song afterwards so you can hear what all this is. But that came from a Mellotron. And the Mellotron was really helpful for us in kind of coming up with sounds. Sometimes we later replaced them with real instruments, but with this one we just straight from the Mellotron. The vocals were the most important.
I am curious now, and you guys won't see this, but I am curious if the songs that she plays, like Blank Space, are the songs that she plays at the end. And if that is the case, then I may do a little bit of editing magic and throw in the songs now, meaning that you guys will see my reaction to them. If that isn't the case, then you're not going to notice anything. But we'll see. We'll see.
And we did a lot of troubleshooting for mics, and the main mic that Max and Shellback and I used was the Neumann M49, and it just sounded better than everything else. So that's what we used for the entirety of what we did together. I feel like we should just play Blank Space now.
I love the way, I feel like every time I hear this song now, I am just going to visualize that's so annoying. Like every single time now. She's changed the song for me. I'm never gonna be able to listen to it without hearing, that's so annoying. Like that every time. God damn it, Taylor, why'd you do this to me?
I'm gonna preface this by saying this is like the most complicated track probably that we'll talk about. I'm going to play you a song that I wrote about a relationship that I was in, that the number one feeling I felt in the whole relationship was anxiety. Because if somehow meaning... I remember you took a Polaroid of us. I'm going to preface this by saying this is like the most complicated track probably that we'll talk about.
So how this is probably going to work, and I imagine the third part of my reaction series is probably going to do the best in terms of views, is because I'm pretty sure all of the songs are going to be in the last 20 minutes of this. So we'll do 3 20-minute videos. The final Grammy Museum performance will just be all the songs in one big video, because the songs I think are different. And then the first 2 are going to be looking over her discussions about how she created the album 1989, just because I feel like that could be kind of fun. I don't know if it's going to translate into reaction. You guys can let me know if it did. But I feel like it's definitely something worth exploring. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I really just love this woman. I really want to check out everything she's done. I really want to explore all of this, and I really want to do it with all of you. So if people don't want to watch it, I completely understand. If you guys do and you want to support it, then amazing. It helps the channel, you know? So yeah, I really just want to check it out. And for me sitting here watching this, I think this is incredible. Her just talking about these songs and these albums and how she created it and the process and the idea. I honestly think this is amazing. I could listen to this for ages. It feels like a podcast.
The reason being that this was done a completely different way than I usually write. I'm not used to writing to track. Like, I know it's done in pop music all the time, but I've never written that way. The song I'm about to play you is called Out of the Woods. And this is a track that Jack Antonoff sent to me. And I was actually on a plane. I got it and I got on a plane and I'm listening to it. I'm just like listening to it and like mumbling melodies because the song came to me immediately in full. But the way that Jack creates his tracks is really interesting. We're gonna dive into his world now. He's a very quirky individual. I have seen him get out an old dictaphone when we're on the street in New York and record a bus passing us. Like, it's just, it's very different than anything I've experienced. I think what I should start by playing you is when I got the track, what I sent him about an hour later. And it is me singing what came to me, which ended up being the finished version of the song.
I wonder
or
if
at least
she's
really close to it. And
an hour later? An hour later! It took an hour to finish this song. Oh, holy shit.
also, this is the exact voice memo I sent him, so it's kind of embarrassing. We talk in gremlin voice when we're in the studio because we have this weird inside joke about the movie Gremlins. And so
What's the inside
I'll
joke
be like
about
in the
the
booth
movie
and I'll be like, how was that one? And it's just, so there's that.
By the way, Gremlins is my #1 favorite Christmas movie. I absolutely freaking love it. It is my favorite Christmas movie. Every year I will watch Gremlins. This year we watched it while wrapping presents. Whatever movie we put on when we wrap presents, we don't actually watch. I think I looked up about 3 times. It was like just wrapping presents as well.
On it, but
I'm not very good at
figure,
wrapping
like,
presents.
We're just talking about everything today. So, this is what I sent him. So,
I'm excited for this.
Here's the melody that I've come up with in the lyric. It's called "Out of the Woods," and
She on a plane
is,
when she sent this back.
It goes like this, and when I sing, remember, remember, that's like a vocal echo, but I'm gonna sing it like I'm not. You get it. I know you like it. So this is me playing it on my laptop and recording it with my iPhone, what I'm singing. Looking at it now, it all seems so simple.
An hour. An hour.
You were lying on your couch. I remember. You took a Polaroid of us.
An hour.
Then discovered the rest of the world was black and white. But we were in screaming color.
Such a great line.
Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods? Are we in the clear yet? Are we in the clear yet? Are we in the clear yet? In the clear yet? Good. Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods? Are we in the clear yet? Are we in the clear yet? Are we in the clear yet? Are we in the good?
I am always surprised. I'm not lying when I say right now I'm sitting here with freaking goosebumps. I am always surprised, and I feel like I shouldn't be at this point, right? How many times have I reacted to Taylor? How many times have I sat in this chair and said, welcome back to another Taylor Swift reaction? How many times have we done that at this point? And yet, I'm still surprised. It still shocks me. It shocks me that a song that she just said is one of the most complicated songs they have done. A song that I feel like is an incredibly complex song. A song that is amazing and one of the Swifties' favorites, Out of the Woods. It is an incredible song. Took her an hour. Jack sent it over to her. It took her 1 hour to send that back. An hour. This woman's mind is incredible. It's terrifying. She can't be human at this point. How? How?
I hope you like it. So,
my God, I want that as a soundbite.
Main snare is a combo of white noise that he got through blowing out the EMI board, clapping his hands, and no joke, dropping his gear bag. He mic'd that up on the floor.
Jack,
So
you are a weirdo.
that's
We
Jack.
love you. You are the
song
best.
itself, what I wrote
You are the
about
best.
this, you know, hearing this track, it just kind of conjured up all these like,
I love that he's just there in like the booth or whatever, and he's like, "How can I make all these sounds?" Drops a bag, just white noise, just fucking with shit in his office.
feelings of anxiety that I had had in a relationship where everybody was watching, everybody was commenting on it. You're constantly just feeling like, are we out of the woods yet? What's the next thing going to be? What's the next hurdle we're going to have to jump over it? Are we going to make it to next week? It was interesting to write about a relationship where you're just honestly like, this is probably not going to last, but how long is it going to last? Those fragile.
I always find this is something I always talk about, and I find it really, and this is something I'll always stand by. When you find the right person, it's easy. And this is, I've said it a million times in these reactions, it's super easy. And I like to think that that's what Taylor's experiencing now with Travis, that she's found the right person and it's just easy. And for a lot of you watching this, I imagine if you're with someone you've been with for a long time now, you know what I mean, right? It is weirdly easy. You go from a relationship that is difficult and you're fighting and you're arguing and you're bickering and you're breaking up and making up and you'll constantly feel like you're climbing Mount Everest, you know, just to make it work. And then you get in a relationship and it's just, what the fuck is this? This is weird. And at the first, it feels uncomfortable and it feels odd and it's not what you're used to. And then it just starts clicking together. And then you're like, oh shit, this is normal. This is what a real relationship looks like. Oh, we trust each other. Oh, we love each other. Oh, it's easy. This is strange. When you feel that, that's when you've met the right person.
Relationships, there's something, it doesn't
Obviously,
mean they're not
everyone's
supposed to
different
happen.
as well.
How the
Keep that in
whole
mind.
time we were having
Not everyone will have
happy
that with
memories
their
or
right person.
crazy memories or ridiculously anxious
I
times
think-
in my head. It was just like, are we okay yet? Are we there yet? Are we out of this yet? And so that is what I wrote the song about. And
But
now
a
I'll play it
relationship
for you.
should be happy. You know? Remember that. A relationship should be happy beyond anything. Anyone else thinking her glass looks like the glass version of the bottom of a bottle? Or just me? Such a great song, man. Also, the flowers, the bottom part of it weirdly looks like asparagus. I don't know what my brain's doing right now, being honest. Look at her! Look at her! She's singing along, the little head bob. She is adorable. What I would have given to just be sitting in that crowd, just listening intently to the genius that is this incredible human being in that chair. Well,
The next song that I'm going to
that feels like the best place to end it, right? Don't we feel like? That feels like the best place to end part one. I feel like that's the best place to end part one. That's what I reckon. That's what I reckon. Best place to end part one. Now, I should be able to do the full audio version of this, but I am gonna have to chuck a blur over it. At least I'll see when I do the edit. So who knows? Like I said, there'll be like a bonus one if not. I do want to say a massive thank you to everyone who supports these reactions. Like seriously, thank you so much. Taylor's never going anywhere. There'll always be a Tuesday. There'll always be a Friday. I know, like, the more this is what happens when you react. So this is me just being transparent with you, wonderful people. The more you react to stuff, because imagine it like this. This is what it's like when you react to an artist. Everyone has their favorite songs, their favorite music, their favorite everything. And when you check all of those out, then you get the diehard fans who are the smaller group. You got the big group and then the smaller group. And then they have all the things they want you to check out. And then they come down. And then they watch all of those amazing things. But then that shrinks and you have the true diehard fans. And they're with you forever. And I want to say, all of you watching this right now, who are joining me for all these Friday reactions when we're exploring more random things of Taylor, more stories and behind the scenes and everything like that. You guys are so damn special. You really are. And I love you all so freaking much. And I just want to say thank you so much for supporting these reactions, for joining me on them, because reading the comments and listening to everything you all have to say and your stories and your inputs and your information and things I might have missed adds so much to the experience of all of this. And it really does. So thank you so much. Like, having you all hold my hand and guide me through this tunnel is what makes this journey so enjoyable. So thank you. And I know, I can imagine a lot of you were kind of hoping that this would just be the songs only. But we can do all the songs in one big video, I feel like, right? Yeah. So I think it starts at like 39, meaning that next week we'll do the last part of the talking session, and then after that we'll do all the songs in one video, which will be quite a big video. I imagine that'll be the biggest one. But I think that'd be kind of fun. And in that way we don't have to have the songs split up either, because I think some people thought I'd do 2 parts and just do the songs. But if I did that, because my thinking behind this was, if I reacted to the songs, I would never react to this part, because I would have done the songs. So I'd rather just watch it all. And hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, like I said, I don't know how this is going to translate to reaction. I might be totally wrong. I might be proved so wrong, and it just completely translates, and people love this, and a bunch of people haven't seen it, and I'm just so wrong. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I love the genius that is her mind. This enigma of it's just incredible. It really is incredible. Everything she says, like the complications around it, how she creates these masterpieces out of thin air. The fact that it took her an hour to send that back to Jack is mind-blowing. It's not human. She's so just wonderful. She really is. And just listening to her empty out her brain is wonderful. You know, I love it. I can listen to her talk for days. She is so interesting and just fascinating. I can't think of a better word than fascinating, because she absolutely is, isn't she? You're just besotted by her. You just sit there just listening to every word she says, hanging off of every word so intently. And I love it. I can listen to these stories for ages. And the thing is, listening to this is just going to make me listening to these songs that much more fun and enjoyable when I know the creation process behind each and every single one. So yeah, and I hope you guys feel the same way and enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have the best weekend ever. Like I said, if I missed anything or you want to say anything, or even if you've got recommendations, put them down below in that comment section. Have yourself an absolutely wonderful day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, my friends, you will see me in the next video.